Shinigami viewers. So today is just a quick project thing that I'm attempting, and I'm just going to kind of film it as I go just to see if my idea pans out the way I think it will. So you get to see like a quick start to finish project that this will not take me but probably a couple hours total, but I think it will give me good results. So I have 3D printed some Battletech mechs because we played Battletech yesterday and I really enjoyed it. And then I want to make my own custom mechs, and I just think that'd be a lot of fun, right? So anyway, this is a 3D printed one from, I think it's from the Patreon called Polygon Masterworks, if I remember correctly. They've got a bunch of custom Battletech mechs, and I printed a couple. We played with the ones provided in the box, but now that I see that it's something I think we're going to enjoy playing, I want to make my own custom mechs because it's what I do. Can't ever do anything vanilla. So anyway, this is the 3D printed mech, and I had this idea that it's like I went to bed with this idea, and like I had a hard time falling asleep because I'm like, I really want to try this. I think this will be cool because I wanted like a two-tone, really just bright paint job, but I had an idea of how to pull off a cool two-tone bright paint job very quickly, but also looks very good. We're gonna find out if I'm right today. So the thing is that we're doing is we pick the base colors for the base parts of the robot, not the little bits and gribbles and barrels and shit, but the main part of the body with some spray paints, because spray paints, I think they're like enamels, if I remember correctly. What that means is like if you want to do multiple colors, you don't have to worry about layers the same way you do with acrylics. It's a different animal. It has its own rules, but it's not the same as acrylic paint. So I was like, I want to do this bright kind of thing that I'm going to do. And what it was the base color. It's going to be this blue. God damn it. Why does my notifications for Slack go off when I try to make a fucking video every morning? So this is the base color that I wanted to go with. And then I wanted to do some accents with some hot colors, right? Just a really bold contrast. And that's exactly what I did. So if we go over here, here's step one of it. And here's the main colors. It's like pretty bright, right? But right now it's still at a point where it looks like, oh, you just spray painted it. Because the final result will not just be your first reaction like, oh, you just spray painted it. Because what we're going to try to do here is, I did what I love to do. I gave myself a protective layer of matte clear enamel to protect my work and also give me a paintable layer that will paint should bite to it. I'm going to do all the little bits and gribbles with metallics. So this little, like, you know, his Gatling gun barrels and the little teeth and shit like that, and all those little, maybe some little parts and pistons here and there, those are all going to get hand painted with metallic paints. Then we're going to protect that layer, and I'm going to have to do a test piece to see if this works. I'm going to start it and have it drying while I do the metallics, which is to see if I can paint with my black acrylics on top of this, do some black tiger stripes maybe. If it doesn't work out, I'm still going to be happy with the two-tone neon as is, but I might actually just jazz it up even further on these and do some tiger stripes. So next video should be what it looks like once I do the metallics, and then we'll start fooling around with painting acrylic black tiger stripes over top of this paint. I'll get a test piece of plastic to see how the stuff reacts, and we'll see. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then I'll be back once I get that done. Okay, so we're back, and I would say mission pretty much success so far. This is the metallic. Made a couple of goofs I'm probably gonna try to clean up with a Q-tip. I don't know yet, because we could just rack it up as weathering, where the paint like knocked off of the mech from being in action. The only other thing, like, thought I had was, in future times of trying this, I'm probably gonna not use an acrylic. I'm probably actually gonna use an enamel, because I think a metallic enamel will probably look better, because it's taken a couple coats of the metallic to not show the color underneath, which I thought, being a metallic reflecting all colors, it would be pretty strong as opposed to like pinning like a regular color on top of it. Didn't quite. It took a couple layers to get to this point, and I think with an enamel, I'll have less of that. But down the road, we'll try that for sure. It's been on my mind to start fucking around with enamels more anyway. So next step is I'm gonna try to clean up some of those little goofs, maybe clean up some of the little goofs, and then washes, clear coat, and then I'm gonna play around with my tiger stripe. I don't even know if I want to do tiger stripes on this, because I don't know if I feel like I'm gonna like tiger stripes the way I paint them at this scale. Again, I'm gonna play around on my test piece and see what I think, but we'll be back. And yes, holy shit, this is a move. So I got my metallics on here, and I had a feeling when I started hitting it with washes, we were gonna get a lot more in the direction that I wanted. Now we're talking. And now I'm kind of thinking that actually maybe I either don't want tiger stripes or they're going to be drawn on with a Gundam pen. I'm not sure which of the two I'm going to go for. And the reason I say that, it's not a matter of like questioning my ability or anything like that, but just the fact that this is already actually a very complicated design with a lot of panel lines, that the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over it with some washes on the colors, with a warm colored wash on the red and then a blue, a darker wash on the undersides. That I don't think it's really, I feel like a tiger stripe may detract and may be too busy for this mech. So we might not do it. So I'm going to do some washes and I'll be back and we'll reevaluate. And in classic ADHD fashion, I forgot to fucking do the final video and post this. I'm sorry, I spaced, but yeah, I did a lot of other stuff here too. What you got here is, this was the last step, was using the shadow wash on the metallic pieces. After I showed you that, I then went and used red tone on the red, surprise, blue tone on the blue, and then, you know, it's a metallic paint that I did the metallic shit with. But I just kept going layer and layer and layer and building it up. And as I said earlier, I actually did decide not to do tiger stripes because I did feel like it was going to be too busy. But what I did do something. I found some water slides that were tiny enough from Gunpla stuff to fit on here. And I did that. Like, see, there's some on the legs and shit too, and there's some on the back. So I did actually give it some tiny little detail. And then hit it with, well, I had to do a gloss clear coat for the water slides, but then I went after it with a matte clear coat because I didn't want it shiny. I wanted it just kind of a matte coat. And I'm very happy with this. This is very cool. This is worlds better than the one that I did in January. I'm very happy with this, and we'll be doing more with this technique. So this was definitely a win in my book. But yeah, that was that today. So cool stuff. Sorry, I forgot to kind of film a little bit more of the graduality of the steps, but I thoroughly explained what I did, I think, here overall. It's just classic work with washes, is you just kind of layer after layer after layer and just build it up, because like it took several layers to get the legs. It was easy to get the washers on the top to pop because it's a lighter color, but it took a lot more layers of washes on the blue, on the cool colors, to get it to have the same amount of depth and detail that it did up top to make a satisfactory mech. So here he is. And since I did the video, I also found that I guess his name in Battletech is technically King Crab. Big surprise, he's a fucking crab. But I also found a game body model of him that's massive, so we're gonna make a massive King Crab soon. I'm actually printing part of it now. I just can't contain my excitement because I'm a ridiculous person. As well as I found his spec sheet, so I can actually use this mech with a official spec sheet in Battletech, so we'll play with him too on the tabletop. See if he's as good as what I read he is online, because apparently he's quite the tank. And I like playing with tanks in games that I play. So that was it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something. We'll do more of this. I like this kind of technique of it. It was a kind of a speed technique, if you will, just doing the main colors, just blasting with fucking spray paint, and then do the details after. So you guys have a nice day.